to us. So, hi, thanks everyone for joining us. So, we've got Eve on the call with us this evening. I'm super excited to introduce you to Eve. So, this month we've been talking about how do we motivate ourselves, especially when the going gets tough and life gets in the way, and how do we stay on plan and how do we make that work, especially in such busy lives. So a little bit about Eve, like I'll let her tell her story because you've got an amazing story and it's just fabulous to hear. But Eve lives in Portsmouth. She is married and has 2 cats. Is that correct? 2 little ones?
Yeah, and they may well show up at any time.
And Eve has been a coach since October 2017 when we launched here in the UK, but I know that she's been involved with Beachbody much before then, and I'm sure she'll tell us a little bit about her story. And she's a part-time diamond coach, and I can let you guys all know about that, what that means. But what I think is amazing is that Eve has healed her fibromyalgia from her involvement in Beachbody, which I just think is absolutely phenomenal. My mum's got fibromyalgia and I know a few people that have got it, and it's really debilitating, and I think that that's absolutely extraordinary. And in your real job, as I like to call it, you're an office and accounts manager with your brother, which is awesome. So thank you so much for being here with us. We really, really appreciate it. But I just wanted to kind of hand over to you. I'd love to know, tell us a little bit more about your story and kind of what got you involved in Beachbody, I guess.
Well, talking of one of the cats, one has joined me and she is going to make demands for my attention.
Oh, brilliant.
So like split it. So yeah, my story was, it at times can be a little bit long story because it goes back to 1995 and I got hit by a car when I was 12 and should have died as a result of my injuries. I spent a long time in hospital and came out and had for years had problems with my knees and my legs, and it just got worse. And in 2008 I fell over a wall in a drunken bit of frivolity with my uni housemates and damaged my knee, and my health just sort of started to decline from there, and realised I was developing fibromyalgia. And literally by 2014 I was 200 pounds, so that's sort of well over 14 stone. I was using a walking stick. I was registered disabled and had a blue badge, and I literally was on drugs to get me up in the morning, get me through the day, painkillers, get me to sleep, keep me asleep, and then I'd go through the whole same thing. And I couldn't, if I wasn't at work, I couldn't do anything. I would just sit on the sofa. I wasn't active in the slightest, and I was miserable in terms of my quality of life. I've got a wonderful husband, I've got great friends, but I couldn't enjoy my life. And I thought something's got to change. I'd gone from a size, I'd always never struggled with my weight. I'd always been like a size 8 to 10. And I realised I was a size 18, and that happened in about 18 months, that weight gain, because my mobility was just so bad. And I stupidly, my first program that I started was T25. Don't know why. Went to Glastonbury and that soon stopped, and didn't do anything again for about 6 months, and then thought I'll try 21 Day Fix, because I'd done some research. I just found this woman on Facebook. I can't even remember how I found her, and so I sort of had got to know a little bit about Beachbody, and I thought it was when 21 Day Fix was launched and they were all going on about it, so I thought, well, I'll try that. And I managed 2 workouts. I thought, no, this is too hard. The DOMs were bad. So when anybody says they get bad DOMs for 21 Day Fix, I completely sympathise. They were awful. So I didn't really do anything. And then I thought, size came out. I thought, I'm going to do size. That's fun. And I did that. And I did most of it. And then I went back to 21 Day Fix and did that for months. And then I did PIO, which is my sole workout. I love PIO. And I think for anybody who does have any sort of mobility restriction or is larger, PIO is the way forward to start with, and then 21 Day Fix. And I tried other things. I tried a bit of shift shop, I tried a bit of quarter force, could never finish it. But I'd managed to get off my meds, didn't need my blue badge, didn't still occasionally need my walking stick. So, you know, I still get the on this day notifications where I'm talking about trying to get off my meds and trying to picture me with my walking stick being really miserable. But my health was improving. And then all last year, I completely, my health was improving, but my weight was plateauing. And I was a bit miserable with that. And then I got asked to be in the 2B Mindset test group, which changed everything. And the weight is now melting off me. I'm completely med free. I don't take anything. I haven't used my walking stick since June. I can run. I had to run for a taxi the other day and I did it with ease. And I was with one of my friends who's a police officer and I could run quicker than her, which is just crazy. And I was doing Sean Week, but I've come down with a tummy bug. And I'm doing moves I never thought I could do. And before Beachbody launched, I was sneakily getting my Shakeology into the country, which they are aware of. I have told them. And so I've been drinking it sort of for 2.5 years. And I put that as being a big factor in how I healed my body. And I didn't realise, but when Carl was doing his Visiting London talk, he mentioned in that actually Isabel Deichler, his wife and creator of Shakeology, she had fibromyalgia as well. And she healed her body through sort of Shakeology and whole foods, which is one of the reasons that drives her to make it the quality that it is. And Beachbody can't say that it heals, you know, major ailments like that, but it's my belief that that played a big part in it, being active and then just having, you know, doing personal development and being surrounded by positivity. And I think the worst thing is when you have a chronic condition or any health condition that's ongoing, flare-ups really affect your motivation. I mean, my flare-ups used to be 10 days long and they'd happen twice a month. And then slowly they would get less and less intense, less in length, and less frequent. And they can really affect your motivation. So for me, it's always been about my why is about wanting to have a quality of life, to be able to do things like walk up the stairs without moaning and groaning. Sometimes my health is much improved, but I do still sometimes moan up and down the stairs because I do still have issues with my knees, and I probably always will do. But I suppose when it comes to motivation and how you, because for 10 years I had a very stressful job. I was a probation officer and I worked specifically with very, very nasty people. So I supervised murderers, rapists, child sex offenders, people that had done some really horrible things. And when you're stressed and dealing with that and you have a choice of, I've got to send someone back to prison and eat something really, really quickly, or shall I go to the kitchen and just do a quick and lay out a nice healthy lunch? It's like, well, sorry, sandwich has got to win. But it's a question of still making the right choices and not going, well, you know, the whole day can go to pot because I had to deal with a recall, so I'm going to have pizza and wine, which is my favourite thing ever. I love pizza. So yeah, that's sort of my story a little bit. Before Beachbody launched, I saw the power in it, and I've been running challenge groups for like a year beforehand. And so at launch, I went diamond in a week, which was a bit awesome. I've sort of stayed there because I've had some personal issues. I sort of had a breakdown in December, and then I had another one in January, all thanks to the job, which is why I now work with my brother. So, and actually the one thing that kept me going was that consistency and routine of working out. Because we all know when we get a workout done, we feel good. You do feel good afterwards. At the very least, you can put your smug face on that you've got your workout in. And so that's sort of the one thing I say to everyone, if they're struggling with depression, anxiety, anything like that, get a workout in, get active. Even if you don't want to, you will feel better afterwards.
And how do you do that? Because I mean that, you know, I struggle from time to time with my mood, and it is just, you know, you just want to pull that duvet up over your face and hide away, don't you? So how do you, what do you do? How do you shift your mind to be like, right, I'm gonna go and do it? You know, how do you get to that point?
I literally have to have a talk with myself and go, right, come on, no excuses. You wouldn't, if I was talking to one of my challengers and they had said, no, I want you to be really badass with me, I would run through that conversation in my head, be like, no excuses. You know you're going to feel better at this. It's half an hour. It's 2% of your day. You're going to feel awesome at the end of it. It's either that, or you can sit here and scroll through Facebook for half an hour that is going to give you no value to your life whatsoever. Whereas this will set you up physically and emotionally for the rest of the day, so you can just live life on a high. And it's just being really, really strict. I mean, I can, when I was off sick in December, I could procrastinate for 3 hours before I press play. And it's not like I didn't have work to go to then, and I would still procrastinate for 3 hours and do nothing. But I would get there, and I would remember how awesome I felt afterwards. And that's sort of what kept me going. And also the fact that nobody wants to do doubles on 80-day obsession. No one wants to do doubles.
No, they do not. So that's, you know, I think that's really interesting, isn't it? Is that you just, so you click in your mind, you're like, I remember how I feel after I get my workout in. I've got to go and do this because I know it's going to make me feel better. And you just go and do it. So do you have any kind of routines? Do you have a bookend morning that you do? How do you kind of put it into your routine to keep yourself in check so that you make sure that you get it in?
My routine has been completely all over the place recently, starting work with my brother, who is the most unorganised person in the world. And he had some issues, so I had to take on childcare responsibilities of his kids in terms of getting them to nursery, picking them up from nursery, picking him up, running him around. So my routine was just in complete chaos. It's now reached a point where I get up at 6. If I can, I get up at 5:30. Doesn't always happen. I used to be able to get up at 4, no problems. Now I'm like, and I would just pull on my clothing. My husband goes to the gym because his gym's got a pool and he likes to swim. He will come back here for 7. He'll pick me up. He'll drop me off in work, and I actually go and work out at our shop because I live in a flat and my neighbour's horrible, so I can't work out here. She's not nice. She complains if I sneeze, and I don't want to upset her either. So I now go to the shop and I get it done. I make sure it's done by 8 o'clock, and I sit there in my workout gear for about 45 minutes, dying a little bit, and then they start to come in for work and they will laugh at me, and I'm like, yeah, deal with it. I've got my workout in, boys. What have you? You're just going to sit there and eat burger and chips for lunch, which they do regularly.
Yeah. Well, that was going to be one of my questions. So how do you? So you mentioned that, you know, pizza and wine. That was exactly me. Like, I love my pizza and wine. So, you know, I often find, so I know that I massively self-sabotage, and if I have a great week, I'm like, well, I deserve a treat. Or, you know, if I see the scales go down or whatever, I'm like, do you know what, brilliant, I can have that pizza tonight, or I can have my wine, or whatever it is. So how do you know, those are your vices, how do you manage them? How do you then manage to stay on track?
I think 2B mindset has made a huge difference.
Okay.
So if you've got anyone in your groups that are thinking about 2B mindset, they don't know what it is, I thoroughly recommend it. I was in the test group, so I've been doing it since February, and that it takes a much more balanced approach to nutrition.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you want pizza, you can. So for me, I'm deviating from one of the principles once a week. So I can have something like pizza for dinner, or I can have something that's carb based for dinner without stressing about it, because I know that won't affect the scales. I'll be fine with that. But my advice is, I think I just try and think of the bigger picture. It's like I've lost a stone. I've lost countless inches. I haven't measured myself since I started 2B. But I sit there and think, do I want this croissant, which is completely and utterly off plan? Or do I want to go and have my very delicious Greek yogurt, homemade granola and fruit, which is completely on plan and will fill me up for longer and will make me feel better, and I actually am obsessed with. I love it. Why not look at it like that? I think I'd rather go for the healthier option and not the croissant. When people offer me free pizza, it's a little bit more of a struggle, not gonna lie. But, you know, I just have to remind myself of where I want to be and how good I feel from being able to fit in jeans that I haven't worn for 10 years. And I'm determined to fit in my wedding dress. Like, it's my 10th wedding anniversary in June. I really want to get back in that. So, you know, those things are in the back of my mind as well about, you know, do I want that whole pizza? Because I can eat a whole pizza quite easily. Or do I want to fit in my wedding dress on my anniversary? I think I'd rather fit, you know, I'm the sort of person, I set myself a goal and I like to achieve it.
So what I'm hearing from you then is you have, you know, there's this kind of overall why of, you know, you want to be as healthy as you can be. You want to make sure that, you know, you keep your fibromyalgia in check, but there's also, it's about having those mini goals, if you like, to keep you on track, keep you focused, and keep reminding yourself of this is what I want, and what do I want more, that instant gratification of that croissant, or do I want to get into that wedding dress? And keep reminding yourself of those things when you get to those points.
Yeah. And, you know, if you need to have photos of it up, do it. I've got a vision board next to my desk on the side of my fridge that I sit there and I look at that and remind myself of my goals. I don't have a picture of my wedding dress on that, but it's one of the things that I'm very sort of aware of, that, you know, I think I'd quite like to fit in there. I've only got until June. But fortunately, it's before Summit, not after.
I look forward to seeing them. No, I think you're absolutely going to do it. I think vision boards work like wonders. I think I've just started doing one. I've never done one before, and I've done all sorts of jobs over the years, including sales. And I used to, you know, when I was in sales, however many years ago, I used to have pictures of the things I wanted and the things I wanted to be around my computer screen. And it just hasn't really been on my radar, but it can work in every aspect of your life. It doesn't have to just be work or whatever. It can actually, you know, it can be fitness and nutrition, and whether that's you know, pictures of you running around with your kids, or whether it's fitting into that size 10 pair of jeans, or whatever it is. I think that it's imagining that you're there and visualizing it, isn't it? And those vision boards really, really work. That's a great piece of advice.
We've got like 6 nieces, aged between 2 and 17, and we have, like, when they were younger, I wasn't well enough to play with them, couldn't do it. The youngest 2 are 3 and 4, and I'm now well enough to play with them, so I will roll around with them, we will run around, I'll take them for long walks. They absolutely love it. And I've never, when the 4-year-old was younger, I couldn't do that, and I couldn't do it with any of the older ones. And like, one has, the 17-year-old, we have a festival in Portsmouth, and she's coming to that. And at the last festival, I had my walking stick. I couldn't, you know, we couldn't stay for very long because I was in too much pain. And I'm really excited to see how much my health has changed and how much I can cope with her, because we couldn't have taken her, even if she was 17 a couple of years ago. I couldn't have done that. And it's just hanging on to those moments. It's like, yeah, I want to be able to play with my nieces and run around and be silly and make them scream because I'm tickling them. And I want to be able to go and do stuff with my nieces, like go to a festival and walk around and not struggle. And it's holding on to things like that as well. They're not my main why. My main why is about healing my body, because there is no pain as bad as feeling like you have tasers attached to your legs and someone's just turning the switch on and off. I don't want to live like that. Playing with my nieces is a good second though.
Yeah, good for you. And when you do have flare-ups, so how do you, so sometimes I find that, if I'm unwell or whatever, or I'm feeling a bit low and I maybe don't do my workout, or the baby, so I've got a 1-year-old, sometimes she wakes up really early or she doesn't sleep at night, so I physically don't get a workout in. How do you then how do you stay on plan when things haven't gone as a smooth day could possibly go?
In the past, I will just try and do my workouts in the evening. I try and do that less now because of my neighbour. I don't want to upset her. But there's other things. If there are things that are out of your control, like your internet's down, your app's not working, like the other day I nearly didn't get my workout in because I spent an hour running around to try and find a key to get in the shop so I could work out there. If those are things that are real barriers you don't have control over, you still have control over what you're choosing to put in your body. So you can still keep your nutrition on plan if your workouts for whatever reason haven't happened. And I think for me, I'm all to be mindset. It's amazing. And that gives you such freedom that even if you want to indulge in something, you can do. So if you're having a really awful day and you forget your lunch and you've been a power cut overnight and everything in the fridge is destroyed and you can't get your workout done because the power's still off, so you have no food and you have no workout, you can make the best of the situation that you've got. Have your veggies most, have your water, veggies first, have your water most, and see how your body reacts to it and not be guilty about it. And it's just, and life's also about having balance.
That's it.
I'm not one for, I am not a supporter of just eating celery sticks.
Me neither. Can't stand bloody celery. And how does, and one kind of final question, I suppose. So how do you manage those social situations then? Because, it's so easy to, be out with other people, just kind of go with the flow. And how do you, because I think that's one of the things that we often, I used to get quite anxious about. And actually a few years ago when I first started Beachbody programs, we avoided social situations because I was like, I don't want to have, all that food, all those temptations. So we simply just didn't spend as much time socializing, which is terrible because actually that's, so how do you cope in those types of scenarios?
Pre 2B mindset and pre where my health is at now, I didn't go out because I didn't have the energy unless I was incredibly drunk, because alcohol was the only thing that helped my pain. Unfortunately, it also triggered my IBS, so I would have to balance up. Do I want to have a pain-free evening, have some fun, and then spend all tomorrow dying and having to, be bloated and disgusting? But I would just, that for me was a balancing act. Since I found 2B mindset, that's about having balance. So I will go out and socialise, and I will just try and keep my choices on plan. When your choices are veggies most. And when I started, I was in the test group. I went to LA for 5 days. And you would think that traveling would be a hindrance, being abroad, being in America especially. I mean, LA is quite health conscious, but when you're in LA and you can have fish tacos, but you can still make those good choices and still have, you know, one cocktail with lots of water. And sometimes you just need to enjoy yourself. Like, I went out to London on Saturday because I haven't seen my friends in 10 months. So I was not worrying about how much I drank, how much I ate, or what I ate. I was just like, no, I'm going to enjoy this moment. I'm going to enjoy this day. I haven't seen these ladies in ages. And just be guilt-free about it. If you're going to have a meal off plan, don't make them every weekend. Make them occasional, but embrace them. If you're going to do it properly. Don't binge, but, you know, enjoy.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. I think that's exactly it. And doing it guilt-free and not feeling like, oh, I've ruined everything and feeling terrible about it. So, all right, cool. Raven's got a couple of questions. Go on, sorry.
I'm just trying to say, if you get into that cycle of guilt and having, you know, doing doubles or doing a workout so you can earn some junk food, that's not healthy psychologically. And for me, this whole journey isn't just about being healthy physically, it's about being healthy psychologically and having a really happy, healthy mindset. And if you're doing things that don't mirror that, you need to, you know, sort of look at that as well and do stuff that's guilt-free. So I'm just trying to sort myself out because the sun's shining in my eyes.
That's all right. A bit blinded. No, I think you're completely right. So actually, so Raven's got a couple of questions. So kind of thinking about like looking after your mind and you know, mentally as well as physically. Have you got any favourite personal development books?
I actually am a huge fan. I didn't think I would be, of Gabrielle Bernstein.
Yeah.
So I've got I'll tell you something that's really freaky, if you'd like me to.
Yeah, go for it.
Which opened my eyes up to her. So I listened to The Universe Has Your Back the first time, and I was like, yeah, it's all right, it's great. And I tried some of the things, like so in it she talks about having a sign from the universe that you're on the right track, and for her she picked an owl, I think.
Yeah.
And for me, I just don't know why I picked a butterfly. I'm not a girly girl. I'm not the sort of person that would have butterfly tattoos, but that was the first thing that came to mind. And then I went to Summit last year in New Orleans, and we were having a team call in the middle of a swamp. I managed to get some signal, and you know, there's loads of animals around, but butterflies are not on the top of the list. And I just sort of said, universe, am I doing the right thing with this? As a butterfly flew past. I was like, that's weird. And then do you remember the December road shows? Yeah, so I drove up to the one in Bristol, and I don't normally listen to audiobooks in the car because I get really bored and sleepy. But for some reason, I felt I had to listen to it. I tried to listen to music. I tried to listen to anything else, but I just kept coming back to it. I've got to listen to this. And I had some really good like breakthroughs going there. But it was on the way back. I was coming back at about midnight, and there were no cars on the road, like none at all. And there's a point in the book where she's talking about work and the universe. And I was debating taking a job with it's called DVA, which is Domestic Violence Advocate Cars. It's a project in Hampshire, and I said, come on, universe, should I take this DVA car job? As a car appeared that had the last 3 digits on the number plate DVA. How weird. I was like, oh my lord, there've been no cars for 2 hours, and then suddenly there's one and the number plate's DVA. Within 10 seconds of me saying, universe, should I take the DVA car job? I didn't in the end, because the timing was wrong. But so after that, I'm just like absolutely in love with Gabrielle Bernstein. always listen to The Universe Has Your Back. I love Jensen Zero, You're a Badass. I'm currently reading Miracle Morning, which I'm really enjoying. So that's, if you're looking at setting up a morning routine, Miracle Morning is for you. I mean, my husband isn't a huge fan of personal development.
I'm reading that as well.
He saw me, he saw that I had it out and I just left it on the sofa one night. And he gets up early anyway. And he got it. He picked it up. He read it in the morning. And now he does his Miracle Morning routine.
Awesome.
And he loves it. So
that really
one's good.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really, really good. I'm also listening to The Millionaire Mind at the moment by Hank Ecker. And what else? I think this is one of the issues with fibromyalgia that I haven't sorted out, is my cognitive function. Sometimes I just forget stuff really badly.
Well, that's fair enough. Well, maybe let us know if you can remember. But no, they're awesome. And I think they all help. I think you're completely right. I think when you get your mind in check, I think the other things start following as well, and doing personal development and listening to things as well, and listening to them on speed and a half, because a lot of them, they talk very slowly. Actually is a great way if you haven't got time to sit down and read. I think it's brilliant. That's what I've started doing. Cool. So Raven had another couple of questions. So what is your favourite Shakeology recipe, as you've been drinking it for a couple of years?
I've always been old school, just very plain, very simple chocolate Shakeology with either unsweetened almond milk, because it goes really nice and thick, or coconut milk. Coconut milk's my favourite. However, my new favourite is half a scoop of vanilla, half a scoop of chocolate, with unsweetened almond milk and some ice. It's amazing.
I might try that tomorrow. I've never mixed it before.
It's a game changer. It's just, there is nothing wrong with it. And I had a really, so if you ever get to go to Beachbody headquarters, anybody, they have a Shakeology bar there where they have a Shakeology barista.
Yeah.
And they do some amazing ones, much better than anything you'll get at, say, Summit or at any of the live events. I think they need one in the UK.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to when that time comes. Cool. And one other question. So you mentioned about being able to run after a taxi and faster than your friend. So what did that feel like to you when you first realised that actually you could start running and you could start doing things that you couldn't before?
Literally, when I was running for the taxi was Saturday. So I was like, oh, I can run. Because I would love to run, but I don't think my knees would love it if I ran. And I just went, oh, where is everyone? I can run. I'm running faster than everyone else. Where are they? Is that the taxi? And I was more sort of caught in the moment of, is that the taxi? Yes, it's the taxi. Oh, I'm running. I'm faster than anyone else. This is nice. I could do this. Is that the taxi? Where is everyone? And just going back in that loop. Because it wasn't a very long run, but actually it felt really good afterwards. Like, okay. Because this week I've been doing things like lots of burpees and diamond jumps and a lot more jumping than I've ever done. And I have to say I'm a little bit in love with it.
Oh, bless you. That's amazing. Oh, I'm so pleased to hear. It's just I think your story is just phenomenal. And I think this is because I'm in on me and not as my coach. So my account's about to run out of time. I can't see how long I've got left. But yeah, I mean, I think you're just so inspirational, Eve, and I hope you know that, and I hope that you know that your story inspires so many others. And it's just 31 seconds left. Brilliant. So, but thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I'm going to make sure that we get this posted in our team, and I'll give you some feedback because I know that they're going to listen to this and possibly have some other questions for you. But thank
if they've got questions, just I mean, next, if you want me to come on again in a couple of days, we can always do that, and I'll just come on as a live video.
Awesome. I don't know why it wouldn't work, but thank you. And I've just signed up for Tubi. I know Raven has as well, and I'm loving it so far.
You will love it.
Lost £6, so It's awesome.
Yeah, one of my challenges, lost 6 pounds. I'm like,
It's
my
insane.
Lord.
It's
really
a game changer. Anyway, thank you so much, love.
I really hope.
I hope you feel better, because I know you haven't been well. All right, take care. Bye, Raven.
Shakeology is the only thing I've been able to tolerate today.
Bless you.
Bye.
Take care. Bye. Bye, Raven.